Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Welcome to Ask Rob and Rob. Becky and Alex have stepped up to the plate this week and delivered a fine pair of questions for us. So we'll be answering those in just a moment. But you've probably got a question as well, right? So send it over to us. This is how.
You can head over to propertyhub.net/ask. There's a little button there that allows you to leave a message. You can take as many goes as you like, or you can leave a message on a voicemail. Again, have as many goes as you like until you've got the question nailed. 013 808 0035. That's exactly what Becky's done, so let's listen to her question.
Hi, Rob and Rob. My name's Becky and I'm from Essex. I've been listening to your podcasts since December last year and I've found it so useful in developing my property knowledge. I'm just about to complete on my first buy-to-let property. Can't wait to get that sorted. And I've got a question about buying a second buy-to-let property off market and how you go about it. So a bit of background, I live in a block of flats in Southend in Essex and the flat above me has become vacant as the lady's moved on to a nursing home. Now I've been in contact with her family who now manages her estate and I've managed to set up a meeting with them. So I bought my flat, which is directly below her, in December 2020 for 195, which was a great deal because my valuation came back this year at 240. And the above flat is identical. I just want to know how much of a discount should I be looking for if I'm buying the property off of market and what the process is in actually buying the property off market. Cheers. Thank you.
Becky, thank you. Great question. Negotiation. What deal to be done? Well, I'm going to give you a super high-level answer first and then hopefully add some value afterwards. The super high-level answer is however much you can get that leaves both sides happy. When you ever do a deal with someone or a negotiation with someone, it should be at a point where both are happy to do the deal. Neither side wants to feel disappointed. You want to feel like you've done well, and they want to feel like they've done well. When one person feels like they're lost in a situation, then for me, that never sits well. And also, there's more chance, I believe, of that deal falling over further down the line if one of the sides are unhappy. If something else goes wrong for them during the process, and let's face it, it's property, so something probably will go wrong, then they may be more inclined, whether it's you or them, to walk away from the deal. So that's the high level kind of my philosophy to negotiation. But to help you get to a number, the process I would take is really understand who you're buying from and what their motivations are. Because you could have 100 different owners of this property and you would get 100 different prices because each would have their own wants and needs and desires. So truly understand what this person wants and what type of person they are. Now, some people love a back and forth, a wrestle over a deal. And you have to know that. And I know that with some developers we work with. I know they want an arm wrestle before we come to a deal. So I'll go through the motions of playing around and throwing numbers out there that I don't think are going to happen. We have a bit of a wrestle and then we come to a number. I've got other people I work with who just don't like negotiating and they will either do a deal or won't. And you just give them a fair price from the beginning, knowing that it's probably going to get accepted and knowing that you're happy with. And if it doesn't get accepted, then you just walk away from the deal. That's fine. So it's knowing the person, knowing their situation. Now, you've talked a little bit about their situation already, and that may suggest, although obviously I don't know, and hopefully you do, that they're motivated to get something sorted, and possibly you living in the block may go in your favour as well. So take all that information on board, look at a price then you're happy to go in with, and you feel that they would receive well, and try it. If you think they're the type of person to want to negotiate a bit back and forward, then push your offer slightly more on the cheeky side. If you think this person won't appreciate that process, would prefer just to get to it, make it clear that your number isn't a number for a back and forward. This is your number because you just want to make it an easy process for them. And I'm sure they'll appreciate it. One thing I like to do with my offers, particularly if the other side isn't used to negotiating, is explaining why I've offered what I've offered. It's the story behind the numbers. It may sound daft, but people love a story. And if they understand why you've got to that number and why you've offered that amount, it may make them feel more comfortable about that offer. And it doesn't mean they'll accept it, but it means that they may be less offended if it was below what they were expecting. So no tricks to get people to give you what you want or any mind control techniques. It's just about assessing the situation, understanding them, understanding their situation, being fair, and getting to a number that hopefully you're both happy with.
All right, Alex, you're up.
Hi, Rob and Rob. I'm Alex from sunny Devon. Thanks so much for all of your content. It's really amazing. I've consumed all of your podcasts and books and have them audibly and physically too. My question's about JVs and mortgages. I bought a property a year ago with a cash loan from a friend, and we're about to get his money out after increasing the value and remortgaging. As it's taken a whole year and he would like to reloan me the money, I'd like to split it into two deposits of 50k each. However, our broker has spoken to some lenders, and the lenders say they won't loan if he has a second charge. But my friend obviously wants a second charge for security, and it's a lot of money that he wants to loan me. Is there a way that we can restructure a loan to suit, or are we just not asking the right questions or the right lenders? Any help on this would be fantastic. Thanks again for everything you've done. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for your question, Alex. This is a tricky one because your broker is completely right. Many lenders will not agree to someone else having a second charge. And the reason is it makes it messy for them. It means you need a whole load of terms in the loan documentation about what happens between the different charge holders in different situations. The second charge holder could try to force a sale or block a sale, and it just makes life complicated. So you will struggle with conventional mortgages. I believe, but I'm not an expert, that bridging lenders can be a bit more accommodating about this. So if it is the type of project where you are thinking about bridging rather than a buy-to-let mortgage, you might have more luck, and that's one to speak to your broker about. But for the sake of this answer, let's assume that you're not going to be able to give him a charge. What can you do instead? A couple of things come to mind. Neither of them is amazing, but it's possibly better than nothing. The first is that you could give your friend a restriction over the property. A restriction is nowhere near as good as a charge. It basically means that he's allowed to object to you selling the property. So if there's some kind of dispute, he could technically block it. I won't get into the detail of how restrictions work, but they're pretty hard to enforce. And if I was lending, I'd want a charge rather than just a restriction. But maybe as your friends and the first deal that you've done together went well, maybe he'll be happy with that. Another thought is there anything else that he could take security over instead? So if you've got an unencumbered property, that's always good for these purposes. So if you've got a property that has no mortgage on it at all, you can give someone a charge over that for the duration of a project to keep life simple with the other project and keep the lender over there happy. Or maybe you don't have another property in that position, but you've got some other kind of asset. I don't know, just trying to think a bit laterally. The thing that you've got going in your favour here is that you've already done this once with the same person successfully, which sort of makes me wonder why you didn't have some kind of security arrangement in place for the first one, but then you're thinking about doing it for the second one after the first one worked. But nevertheless, it's a good thing, because maybe even if you can't give him the perfect solution, by doing some of the other things I've talked about, or maybe something else entirely that you managed to come up with in your own, maybe that'll be enough in that situation. Maybe someone else who didn't know wouldn't lend on that basis, but maybe your friend will on the basis of your relationship and the project that you've already completed. So Alex, good luck, and I hope you managed to get that sorted.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Becky. And thank you for listening. We do love our listeners who keep with us to the very end of the episode, so we can tell you things like subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get even more of this property goodness. But don't worry, if podcasts are your thing, then we'll be back on Thursday with the Property Podcast. So until then, take care, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.